Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers, and finally, no more 2-0s. We have a slugfest, and not slugfest. I believe you have a better word for it, Mad Magical?
Oh yeah, what is a Donnybrook?
A Donnybrook. So there we go. FlyQuest able to bring it back and do it very, very confidently, Cubby.
You see how much more difficult it was for Young to get in the backline. I think the Malachi, Gragas, Rakan adaptations were very good from FlyQuest. And man, I mean, this was a tight game, man. Like you can see on the KDAs, right? The 20-18, we had Meech with that crazy play after he got so fed. It was just back and forth. The haymakers being thrown left and right. But man, going into game 3. Curious to see how it all wraps up, and honestly interested to see if we get a side swap or a change of strategy from Disguised, as that Malachi ended up being, I think, really important for UG and FlyQuest in the end. UG deserves a lot of credit for surviving some of the early game play attempts from Disguised. I think that gave FlyQuest much better footing throughout this game.
There were a lot of low health bars that slipped away and got away just barely by the skin of their teeth. But ultimately, a lot of those plays, it really felt like it was down to Meech and Masu trying to clutch it out for each other, especially the one that happened around Baron, where Meech just barely gets the kill at the end, man. That was some great stuff to see coming out from both of our squads. And, of course, great performances. You can see Meech right there getting pulled up as the player of the game. Lots of respect to him, Mad Magical.
Even though they lost the game, still gets player of the game. Did a good job, not gonna lie. It was definitely, I mean, he was very important in that game. It was literally, these guys had to live or die by Meech because Young wasn't able to assassinate Masu. And I think that made that game just too difficult for Disguise to actually be able to pilot around. If you can't burst down Masu, that means he's free firing that whole time. He's getting a lot of the feathers down. And as Kaisa, you can only do so much into that range. You're going to get outranged. You're going to get outpoked. So before you can even get on top of Masu, I mean, we saw that happen towards the latter half of the fight.
I mean, I want to credit FlyQuest because if you're Kaisa and you go that build, you do outrange with your Ws. But FlyQuest, once that build came online, they were too far ahead and then were forcing so hard that they never gave Disguise a chance to actually slow down the game and set up the poke with the Kaisas. So I think FlyQuest does deserve some credit for that. One of the good things that they problem solved in the back half of the game to make sure that they were able to come out on top and push this to a game 3.
Well, now it's time for our Rally Cry halftime show. We've had it many times where the casters keep cursing the players, the old caster curse. Well, this time we're going to switch it around. We're going to curse the casters. This game is called Cursed Casters. Basically what we're going to do right here. So we're going to spin a wheel and we're going to take turns. Each and every one of you, Magical Cubby, going to take turns casting these clips based on the style that the wheel dictates. Ready for this?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's pull up the wheel. You ready? Who wants to go first? Any takers?
I'll go.
All right. Spin it away. Let's see what you get.
That's my... There's probably music going on right now.
Sell this player.
Sell these players to the LCS on this upcoming clip. So we're going to pull up a dragon fight that happened around 6 minutes, 50 seconds. So let's get that rolling right now. And Alex, sell these players to the LCS.
All right, well, first I got to figure out my bearings. All right, look at Spyrex. Look at how he's playing on the other side, keeping Young at A. This guy deserves to be in the LCS. How he's able to play a lot of these fights. And then Masu. He does a great job of creating a lot of space for himself and make it really difficult for Disguise to try to play into him. But then you look on the other side, and Disguise, you've got Meech. This guy flashing away from a guaranteed kill if that root lands onto Masu and wins some. It's insane. But going back to Spyrex and saying how good this guy is, right? Just right there, 1v2, was able to pick up the kills. All the while, Meech only was able to get 1 kill in his 1v2. Just shows you right there. Look at Spyrex. Look at these players. Get them to LCS.
Cubby, I'm going to let you play the role of John Riot. Are you convinced? Do you think these guys should be in the LCS based off of Magical's pitch?
Spyrex, yeah. Spyrex played that pretty nasty.
Look, I couldn't sell every one of the players.
Yeah, I mean, this play is pretty sick for Spyrex. He honestly saved the game here for FlyQuest straight up. If he goes down, Meech is able to press forward. I think that Spyrex.
Well, Young also gets that early kill. That puts this Akali on a position where you can actually assassinate Masu in the backline.
Okay. Well, thank you for your input there, John Riot. But now it is your turn to spin the wheel. So let's go ahead and pull that back up right now. Let's see what you get, Kobe.
That's me spinning. You know.
Ooh. Got it pretty well.
Ooh. Give me the same one.
See what this one is.
Cast like your
little brother is bugging you at the same time. So we're gonna pull up a fight from 9 minutes 20 seconds. It was the Rift Herald fight that went down earlier. So go ahead, take it away, Kobe.
All right. Well, we have Glacial Prison going out. Get away from me. Also, you know, get away. Winston, he ends up going down.
What are you doing,
I know that you want to play the game. It's fine. Young ends up falling as well. We actually have Herald being secured here by the side of FlyQuest. Unfortunately, though, they got what's going on? Oh, we would just stop there. Okay. Is there one where you can cast with a stutter? I feel like I did that pretty well.
You did do that. But hey,
apparently little brothers cause stutters.
Yeah. You know what? Now Alex gets to be the judge. You are the big papa watching your two brothers argue. You think Cubby did a good job?
Of what?
Okay, so that tells you right there. Good
job of what? Telling his brother that he can't play a video game?
You could do both at the same time, Cubby. There's a way to kind of like mend it together.
I mean, you know what I should have done is I should have pulled up this controller and then, you know, unplugged it. Because then just hand it to the little brother and then he can have fun. Right? That's a classic move.
That's how you do it.
That's the play right there.
That would have won it in my mind.
Yeah, would have been nice.
Let's move on to the next play. Alex, it is your turn to spin the wheel. Now you got to do the motion. Cubby started it, so you got to do the motion as well. Go ahead, spin it.
Spin.
There we go.
Cast like this. Oh,
World's Finals
World's Finals cast.
Okay.
So we're going to look at a 20-minute, 45-second Baron bait fight that was pulled off earlier. So go ahead. Pretend this is a World's Finals. Hype it up as best as you can.
Is this like game 5?
Yeah, this is game 5. Deciding moment.
They engage. They got the play. They've got him locked down. Can they dive into the back line, though? Look at Masu getting a lot of damage in the back line. He was able to topple one. Can he play forward? He's still chasing, flashing forward. Up in the air he goes. The Meech flashing away from the Feather Recall. He's getting enough damage to cleanse. Not enough to save Masu. They've got the snap back. Spyrex, he's alive, but he's able to only get Young. Oh, it continues going. It paused for a second. All right. Oh, but here's Winsome. They're back. They've got the chance to stop this play from Disguise. They've got Spyrex. The re-engage Zazel dancing around. But Winsome, he got on top of Meech. That's who you need. But where's Spyrex? Where's the damage? They're kiting him back, trying to fight it out. Oh, the Acanthian Rain. Meech pulls off the game.
Honestly, sold it really well, but you're also supposed to sell the environment, hype up the audience.
It would have been better than if I did this, you know, play-by-play bias for sure.
Are we going to see Masu or Meech in Worlds in the future, Cubby? Do you believe? Do you believe in NA talent?
I just want to see an NA team in top 8, man. Let's start there.
Okay, we will start there, Cubby. But and now we see where your allegiances do lie. So if you do want to flame them,
it's in honesty, you know.
Cubby XX on Twitter. I want to throw that over there to shame him for his lack of belief in North America.
I mean, earlier today,
this is development, man. Come on.
Earlier today, I did tweet out that Cincy Fira would win Worlds. All right, so or they will win Worlds. So that's fine.
All right. Let's give this one more spin. Go ahead, Cubby.
What was that?
That was a whip. Ooh. Oh, this is perfect for you.
Only use sports terms.
Only use sports terms in this next one.
Oh.
So we're gonna throw this to a 26-minute, 40-second fight over in the top lane. Cubby, go ahead, give us some sports.
All right. Well, the front line here holding strong as the offensive line for FlyQuest. Able to stop the rush coming in from DSG, but oh no, in the back line, Fake God, he tried to get the sack, ends up getting taken down in the back half as the running back able to actually zone him out. Dodged out on the first one as Masu, being the QB, obviously able to escape one tackle, ends up getting taken down, and now easy front to back for the rest of it.
No use of home run, no use of touchdown?
You
Not
want
even a hole in
football.
one?
I want. It's
There's
like
no
front
touchdown.
lines. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no
That's
touchdown.
pretty good.
It's just a sack.
I mean, Zaya did touchdown, but that's not a sports touchdown. It's only one kill, man. This is like a
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
8-yard gain.
I should have picked a longer play for this one for you. But you know what? That's on me. That's
You know,
on me.
no, it's on the wheel. It's on the wheel.
I made the wheel.
Yeah.
So it
On the
comes
wheel.
back on me.
Wheel should have spun that at a different time for me, where I could actually lean on sports terms because the sports.
Well, only one of our teams can advance to the next round. The next will have to fall into the lower bracket and fight their way back up from there. 1-1 apiece. DSG versus FlyQuest. Take it away, Alex.
Alrighty, we'll get into this game. Winner moves on in the upper bracket. The loser will have to go down into the lower bracket and face off against the winner of Maryville and a wild card that will be decided tomorrow. But as we are getting into our third game, both teams have decided to swap things up, switching of sides.
Yes,
Disguise,
I was expecting
wanting
this.
the blue side. We were expecting this one, but I want to see how the bans shift up with that change.
I think the majority of teams want blue side on this patch. Disguise, they dropped game 1, so FlyQuest got blue side again, but now
Oh.
Disguise has a chance to win that blue side game. Yone taken away as you have the luxury of opening up more bans on the blue side, and it's still going to be LeBlanc denied. Now Disguise, do they first pick that Maokai? Yep.
Yep. We've seen already in this series, especially, that the Maokai has the utmost importance for both teams. So having that locked in, I'd expect that FlyQuest probably going to go for the Sejuani as well, but they grab this Jace on top of it.
So they deny the combo of Jace Maokai. Again, Tomio, when he is on Sejuani or Maokai, currently 17-3 on those two champions. Maokai, I think, being the better of the two for Tomio specifically. Yuji, honestly, I expect him to get the Sejuani here, but Rel is up and available, and this is a true flex for FlyQuest. Yuji has shown that he can play the Rel jungle quite well. So these are the options that FlyQuest have later on. It's going to be dropped, and it will instead be the Kaisa. So we have Kaisa for Masu already showing.
Already showing that one. I'd expect that Disguise, the Rel, like you said, the flexibility that has for FlyQuest could be the option they go for, but also the Zaya Rakan duo, something that works really well with Tomio and Zazel both trying to dive in.
I mean, I think that we're going to see the Rel here.
Yes.
It's not the strongest champ for, I actually expect this more so to be in the hands of Yuji than Winsome, given the team that FlyQuest Challengers has. Obviously, both can play it, but I think that taking jungle here, that might be what FlyQuest are choosing. Do we take Rel and hold the power of the flex that we actually expect to be Yuji with this team?
Yeah.
Or, other options would have been, and something like that, Sejuani, or taking mid, sending out some bans, or they already have mid, taking top, sending out some bans at Fake God. All options that were available for FlyQuest, that they end up taking the flex pick and the Rel.
But now I'm expecting probably the Sejuani to be banned away by Disguise, just to make sure that they don't even get the Sejuani on top of it. Because, like you said, the Rel can be flexed around here. Yuji can play it, Winsome can play it. So for FlyQuest, I do like this Malphite ban.
I like Malphite a lot.
Because there's a lot of engage on the side of Disguise already. Having that on top of it really deny a lot for FlyQuest when it comes to a lot of the setups, since they are a team that is really built to poke.
Curious if Disguise takes away Cassante from Faisal, because that could be an option too. That is something that it would be interesting. I think FlyQuest, given the poke comp, they're just going to try and take out even more hard engage from Disguise. Now, Maokai can break a poke comp rather easily, especially with Rakan. So wouldn't be surprised if even Ornn taken away here. It's not something that we've seen a lot of from Fake God. But like Ornn, Sion are really good in the what is showing here for FlyQuest, and actually take away the Aatrox. So maybe showing that they want to take a tank themselves in the top side, as Sion is something that Faisal could use to really open up some space for his team, and something that Faisal plays very well.
Sion, Ornn, these are options they can go for outside of just the Cassante that I kind of expect here for Faisal. And holding on to that flexibility where you can put the Rel into the bot lane if you need to, really see what the whole identity of Disguise is going to be. But I will have to kind of keep my eyes on that, see if it is going to be that Cassante, or they want to grab something like this Trundle, which that is an interesting pick.
Should be for Yuji in the jungle. So this will indeed be Rel support for Winsome.
I mean, it could be a Trundle support. I'm just going to say right now.
It does help peel for FlyQuest and does deter Disguise from taking a tank like Scion or Ornn to try and break the poke comp of FlyQuest. So I believe that's going to be the theory, but yeah, something like Aurelia, it is good into the Jace. Cannon also feels really good in the Trundle. So I like these two picks from DSG. You can side lane with the Aurelia, you can find flanks with the Cannon and still force really hard.
I like this a lot from DSG. They have
Trundle
such
struggles in
power
this.
when it comes to these team fights, and not just the Trundle is going to struggle, but pretty much everyone on FlyQuest right now. There's so much to create space in these fights that makes it hard for FlyQuest to really pilot them. So having this Cassante, something that can maybe help disrupt that backline, I think is the best call FlyQuest could have possibly hoped for after seeing what Disguise threw at them.
Isol's really good at Cassante too. I think it might be his strongest champion. So a little bit of comfort as well for Faisal in the top side, as again the stakes of this matchup: winner guaranteed top 3 finish in Challengers League. And then you have 2 best of 5s to try and make it to LA, whereas loser drops to lower bracket and has to face the winner of Wildcard versus MU. And then after that, the winner of TLC versus EGC. That's a tough one.
Hey, don't count out AoE just yet.
That's true. That's true. That's okay. That's true.
Don't
EGC
count them
versus
out
A-
yet.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got that still.
That's
So-
a stray. I threw out a stray out there. You know,
Yeah,
I
you did.
apologize.
And
I apologize, AoE.
I'm making up for AoE. So there we go. It's
That's
all
good.
fair. It's all good. But more importantly is this game. Because this game is all that matters. The last two do not for Disguise or for FlyQuest, because winner of this game moves forward in the upper bracket to face off against Cincinnati Fear. Well, like you said, the loser go into the lower bracket, have to fight valiantly. They want to make it out to LA and be in the finals.
And I'm really curious to see what happens with Trundle in this one, but getting word from our production that we have some more thoughts from Zazel talking about this one.
It would be a big letdown to lose to any of the teams. So, I mean, our goal at this point, and what I want to do is defend my title, win another, and at this point, it really is realistic, and we're all kind of expecting to win. I'd say at this point.
Expecting to win.
Minions have spawned.
Team that comprises of 3/5 of the winning Cloud9 Challengers of Spring. Young and Meech kind of rounding out the composition and really having performed as of late. And even looking at that last game, Meech putting incredible numbers out for the team. And one of the things that we saw kind of be able to deal with that Xayah when it was Masu playing it was something that could dive into this backline to get on top of the Xayah. I look at FlyQuest Challengers composition right now, and theirs is not about that. They are about poking out as much as possible the health of Meech.
I like that you bring that up because I think that for FlyQuest, yeah, a big focus on the Jace plus Kaisa poke, but I will say Disguised, I kind of favor them early. Like, Trundle can win out on early skirmishes, but I think that throughout the game, Trundle's going to really struggle. He doesn't really have a great target to cast Subjugate on, and there are a lot of champions that interact pretty well with Trundle on the side of Disguised. Thinking about the Xayah, Rakan, the Kennen especially, even Maokai has ways to get out of there. So I think that this is one where, for DSG, it's going to be about getting Young online so he is able to side lane. And then from there, making sure that they can really use the side laning prowess of Aurelia to break the expected poke comp we're going to see out of FlyQuest.
FlyQuest at the moment, getting some good strength from their lanes. Feels like that's something that has been kind of quintessential for FlyQuest, is that the early game domination they get from a lot of these lanes. Spyrox getting a lot of control over Young in the past 2 games, even looking at Pycelle, getting some good trades against Fake God, who, you look at the first half of the round robin, was one of the strongest players, and feels like he has been starting to work his way back up to that domination that he had in the top lane, like he did at the very beginning of the split.
Yeah, I think it's a good call out. Fake God's first round robin had him in most valuable prospect contention. For me, I think Fake God's second round robin was a lot weaker, but he's been really good in these playoffs. So opportunity for him to do some good work in this matchup where we have seen very oftentimes Kennen be picked into Cassante. I saw taking his Cassante as you highlighted, Mad Magical, really focusing on the role that he needs to play in team fights, and also just knowing that it's one of the stronger champions for him.
Nice double stun from Winsome in the bot lane, and even getting that Void Seeker to connect onto Meech.
Yeah, heal.
Like a lot of power there in the bot lane for FlyQuest. Mid lane, Young was able to do a decent job of kind of battling back against Spyrex and trying to keep him at bay before he can really roam around the map and try to see if he can tag team with this goon squad that you see on the minimap with Winsome and Yuji.
We're going to play for the Raptor respawn, as Yuji will get a ward in there. Tomio, though, did end up starting on the buff, as did Yuji, so resets come out, and junglers will be clearing their red side camps, the blue side camps, respectively. So we do have mirrored clears, and I think the slower early game, for me, this time around, it actually does benefit Disguised. I think Malachi needs a little bit of time. Once he gets Demonic, that's when he's going to start feeling really strong, and somebody can start looking for plays with really no answer from FlyQuest. And Young's going to need some items before he can start pressuring the Jace, notably the Vamp Scepter. And then, you know, you're just online as Aurelia. It's just how it goes, you know?
Just Aurelia things. That mid game where you're going to feel really strong. It's funny that you were kind of talking about, like, changing strategies of the two teams. Because for FlyQuest, the last two games were really more about them trying to win out earlier into the game, find some of these early skirmishes. But this time around, even if they do have good ways to kind of fight back early into the game, it feels like this game, they are leaning more on scaling, getting these items for someone like Masu and for Spyrex.
And that is something that we, you know, did praise FlyQuest for coming into today, is really their flexibility on strategies. This feels like a team that can play a lot of strats, has an idea of how to execute anything they're willing to pull out onto the Rift. That's something that really has stayed with this team from spring to summer, with 4 out of the 5 members being similar. So this is one where we'll see if they can ring true for FlyQuest, and I think it's really important that they are able to at least make plays very early on before DSG gets too strong. As, oh boy, here we go.
Speaking of doing plays, it is FlyQuest starting it off Pillar. Put to try to make sure that Meech has no way out.
Good
and the
flash
preemptively from Yuji to make sure First Blood is gifted over to Masu.
Good flash from Yuji. Masu gets that one for free. Exactly where FlyQuest wants to put their gold. Well done by Yuji and FlyQuest to find First Blood.
Giving it over to Masu. Huge here for FlyQuest to get the scaling online sooner into the game. As Big God using that ult there just to clear up the minion waves against Faisal and keep him pinned down as best he can, forcing him out of the lane for a long way.
Got playing that very well, as Faisal able to give some ult. Oh, Young. Okay.
Very,
That's
very
expensive.
dicey. Yeah, that is expensive. And even though it was Young forced to flash away, Skies are the ones sneaking away that dragon.
Young has the Vamp Scepter, so he's going to try and stick it, but it's
I don't think he can.
kind of dangerous. Yeah, he's going to wait for his team to come from the dragon. You're just going to try and cut Tomio off. Tomio did throw in a sapling to at least scout this. Young going to use the W to buffer, but still, he's able to get the experience from this wave, but none of the gold. So well done by Spyrax. Strong laning from him as he forces Young back.
Getting that lane domination going online for him. It might not be the solo kill, but it's enough to get him out of the lane, get quite a massive lead so far for Spyrex. He's going to get a plate for himself as well. So that way, I think that's 2 plates that have been taken down. No, just the 1 plate in the mid lane.
Still real nice. While that was going on, DSG, they answered back the bot play with the dragon for themselves. This guy's going to be okay with that. Still FlyQuest. That gold is onto Masu. We came into this matchup talking about the bot lanes, Mad Magical. And we have seen Meech and Masu, respectively, I think, put up a pretty good series. Game 1 was about Young taking down Masu, whereas Game 2 is really about FlyQuest being able to protect Masu, with Masu already having a nice start to this game. We have seen what he can do on the kite, so he has done some nasty, nasty things on this champion in Challengers League. This guy's going to have to be up to it in this one if they want to stay in the upper bracket.
Zazel got to live up to the words he had back in week 1, where you're talking about Meech and saying how good this player is. That's where that talk came from earlier today, right? The clip of Zazel saying Meech is the mechanically insane player that Masu wishes he could be him. Well, this is the time to show up or shut up for Meech. Beating Masu in this game, in this series, This right now is everything. All the pressure is put onto this game if you want to guarantee that top 3.
It makes your route so much easier to LA. You have 2 best-of-5s to try and book your ticket to finals, whereas the lower bracket looking scary already at this point in the tournament. But I still gonna find nice trade here on the Fake God. Rift Herald has been started up by Yuji.
Starting it up with Meech still showing in the bot lane. The plate was
they had
picked
a
up
reset.
by Disguise, but that reset. FlyQuest doing enough work to make sure that it was going to be the reset on the Rift Herald, all the while trying to chunk out Zeyzal and Young here in the mid lane so they can't rotate up towards this play and up towards the Rift Herald.
Zeyzal was able to leech level 6 off the wave, but still, the landing from Spyrax, this is huge this game so far from for FlyQuest Challengers. Keeping Aurelia down, because Aurelia is someone that once you get that fork, you own the side lanes. And that's something that I think FlyQuest would really struggle against later if Aurelia is able to get ahead of the curve, but Spyrax doing such a good job of landing and FlyQuest supporting him in that mid lane. It's actually enough to even open up this Rift Herald in favor of FlyQuest. Tommy is going to throw out an ultimate. It'll be too little too late.
Oh, is
Ooh,
it?
he stole it!
Is it? It's not too little too late. Yuji just didn't expect
he dies for
the
this,
balls here on Tomio to flash forward. Yeah, he dies, but he still has the eye.
Oh my goodness. All right, Tomio. He's able to yoink that one away. That's Demonic Embrace. He's going to type Worth in all chat and probably call it a good day. No?
I think
the
so.
strat?
I would be. I would be. You stole that away from what we assumed was guaranteed for FlyQuest Challengers. So getting that for Tomio, I mean, they can pop that in this bot lane, start to set up Meech. We look at Tomio, and this is just complete luck.
Oh man, he just wins the flip. I don't know if his plant had anything to do with that one, or if he might have had the 900 smite. Looking at the size of his pet, it does look like that's the case. So a little bit of an advantage on the smite there for Tomio, able to take that camp away from Yuji. Not just a camp, a Shelly. And now we'll see if Shelly can be dropped in the right place, because if I am disguised, I think that Young hitting his board is really where my focus needs to be right now. So if there's any way you can help Young get to that point and get Young in a side lane, that's big. So I think this Rift Herald should be used to get Young gold or to crack a turret.
Tomio is thinking about it in the mid lane. Even calling up Zeyzal, the hover around this play. 40 seconds left until the dragon spawns. They could just wait it out, but to use the timer to set up themselves getting the second dragon of the game.
30 seconds away. FlyQuest did just have a fresh base. You can see Masu. He's ahead in items right now. Just got the free boots that hit his inventory. Masu's able to get shoved. And FlyQuest are going to have to lean on that if they want to try to take this first dragon. Yuji is actually snuck into the lane. He is spotted. Will give himself away. So Tomio is actually rotating up to support Young. There is a small opening here to make a play onto the Jace mid.
Now look at that. You can see Tomio putting the Rift Herald in the mid lane right as the dragon spawns. Will take a lot of damage for it, but Skies can peel back towards this river. The charge will go through and get 2 plates.
In the pockets of Tomio. So is going to be on the Maokai, not the Aurelia. RX maintains his CS lead mid, which again, very critical that FlyQuest have this laning out of Spyrax. If Aurelia gets out of control in the side lane, I think that's really where things can fall apart for FlyQuest and this poke composition that they want to set up.
But Young still has been contained, even though he does come back into the lane with that play to the Rune King. A big power spike for Aurelia to play around. This guys seem very cognizant of that. They're all now moving around here, getting themselves set up to even have TP wards if need be, for Fake God to join in.
With the tension here, as Disguise can try and force this. Can Yuji yoink his way? Not going to be the case. 900 smite connects, is clean from Tomio as good buffer for Winsome.
Looking for Tomio, looking for anything on the escape as DSG taking a lot of poke.
Good
And what a pillar there! So Tomio has to sacrifice himself just to make sure the others can get out, but Zeyzal barely does so.
Also gets the flash out of Zeyzal on the back half too. So FlyQuest, yes, they dropped the dragon, but they're going to get a lot of gold in the pockets of Masu, the best member that they won the gold in.
Getting all that gold and all this attention towards Masu to get him towards that second item spike even faster. Should be at least that plate right there, maybe even a second one on top of it, but with the backs already being channeled, it seems like Masu wants to cash in.
This is good for FlyQuest. Them keeping Aurelia in this short lane, I think is really big. This is a matchup where Jace into Aurelia in top lane. If you play Jace top, this is a matchup that you just dread. Aurelia runs you down in the long lane, but short lane, given how Spyrax has been able to keep the wave on his side of the map and control this Aurelia, playing out a little bit different from usual. As now, Winsome with the hover too, you can have more champs to interact with the mid lane. Being in the middle of the map, that is paying off big time here for FlyQuest. Spyrax, again, doing a very good job in this matchup. And as long as the turrets stay alive for FlyQuest Challengers and continue to find this, now Young, he's in trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble. Forced to flash the pillar, put up. No escape there. Nazel's going to throw himself into danger to try to help out. And now that they have Tomio here, that actually could help him out because they're dashing onto Yuji and they're going to be able to pick up the kill for Young. FlyQuest flashing away just to survive. Every member there disengaging as they have lost out. And even top lane. Thank God. Solo Bolo's all out Faisal.
Huge plays from Disguise across the map as they fight back. They take down FlyQuest, both mid and top. Tomio tries to contest these camps as well. As Disguise now, they're going to be laying siege upon these turrets.
And look at Spyrax. He's trying to hang out here in the mid lane, but realizes just after one shot blast, there is nothing left. That is the mid lane cracked for Disguise.
And what this means is that Young is now in the long lane. He was able to find a kill in that skirmish as well. So Disguise matching that mid lane 3v3. Aurelia is very strong at this point of the game. Will continue to excel in the long lanes, in the duels. Let's take another look. Young was pretty far up here, but is able to sidestep the empowered shock blast. Flashes away from the first stun from Winsome. Does end up eating everything, but at this point, level 11 is dinged. A lot of damage able to be reduced by that W being held. Then it's the ult, and the Aurelia starts dancing around. Tomio showing up to the party a little bit late while Young survived all the cooldowns. Being burned was enough to turn this play in favor of Disguise. And then top lane, Big God's gotten a lot of chip damage down from here, but immediately following up that dash with the Q, finding the stun on the cannon after the unstoppable. Big difference as he finds a kill for himself, and Disguise now have 2 dragons to their name and a gold lead.
2 dragons, 2 turrets as well. They were able to get off of that play. You see how that gold is really starting to add up for Disguise. The sheen in the inventory of Young, getting some of these big power spikes as well. 8 God, just by himself, just after that play, he is the one with the most gold.
Oh, Tomio, that's a good R. Spyrax, he's got no flash, he's dead.
Oh, no, yeah, he's dead. You can see right there with the duet as well, layering the CC, so Spyrax just cannot get it out of danger. This guy's finding another play, maybe here onto Yuji. Zazel against 3, looking for the play as it got it is enough of a deterrent for FlyQuest wanting to find their own fight.
I gotta say, man, I really feel like Malachi is starting to dictate the meta in the playoffs. That we are on patch 13-14. Malachi is undefeated so far in Challengers. He's 5-0, looking to go 6-0 in this game, and has been undefeated in this series. Tomio playing this pick so well. Your ability to force onto the poke setups that we have seen, not just in this game, but from this tournament, have been huge for Malachi teams. Not to mention answering with some poke yourself with the Demonic Embrace, the first strike, and the red smite as Tomio is fully online. Second Rift Herald secured for Disguise. 2k gold lead, and this can be dropped mid to help set up a dragon. And because FlyQuest will be really focused on taking away what is going to be a sole point for Disguise that gives Young the ability to pressure in the long lane. Okay, I say that he's going to base. He's going to reset, probably find a team fight here for Disguise. But still, definitely something that we're going to look out for as Young will be used to break the poke comp in the Saga.
Keep him at bay. You can set up a 1-3-1 with a cannon too.
Yep.
Hard it for them to really match that here from FlyQuest is their composition really is about poking them out, whittling down their health bars, but we do have to bring back the point we talked about earlier, Cubby. FlyQuest have a composition that want a few items. They're on that 2-item spike now for Masu. The third one could push them over the edge. And
it will be the poke Kaisa. The Sork shoes give it away. Masu going for the Ludens. So Disguised, I think they have to keep on pushing things forward. They will be given this dragon for free. FlyQuest realize they cannot fight until they get Kaisa at 3 items. I think this is the right choice from them. They're going to trade this for mid-outer, try to get some gold in their pocket. But hold on.
They got Faisal on a huge flank here, looking for that angle, but nobody can enter the pit. It is going to be the third dragon picked up by Disguise as FlyQuest realized they just did not have that angle.
They hadn't seen Fake God yet either, and if they would have pushed in, Fake God would have been able to cut them off, as we see Young playing out really nicely.
Wow. They're getting a lot of damage. They actually are just looking for Faisal underneath the turret. They've got enough damage that even with the Yell out, it does nothing to stop the Skies.
Young knows the limits of his Aurelia, his most played melee champion. Disguise will take the turret. FlyQuest potentially looking to answer. I don't think they can, though. Fake God doesn't have access to that TP. He is currently fogged. He's not even showing on the mid wave that is at his turret.
So that FlyQuest, again, this is a composition that wants to set up first. They want to poke. They want to get these members low of Disguised.
That was really small from Fake God, but he actually dropped that wave at the mid-inner turret just to deter FlyQuest, play with fog, say, hey, you don't have vision, you can't see me right now. If I'm rotating over, you 100% cannot take this fight, because Disguise already used a lot of cooldowns to actually take down the Cassante in the first place. So that's really small, but I think a nice veteran move from Fake God, showing that, you know, his map play, definitely one that we have credited, not just in this split of Challengers, but throughout his career, as Disguise were able to get out of that one cleanly. 2.5k gold lead, soul point available for them, and Ocean Soul at that, very strong into the poke comp that FlyQuest is showing.
It really has the value here because of that poke. Having an Ocean Soul, probably one of the most unlucky roles for FlyQuest, since their composition is about whittling them down slowly over time. But Disguise, they're playing a composition that reminds me a lot of when they faced off against Evil Genius Challengers. For EGC, they played this composition that was all about poking, waiting out the game, slowly scaling in while Disguise needed to find the fight. Well, and that's what Disguise did. That's how they were able to pick up such a big win over resurging Evil Geniuses, not only once, but twice, Cubby.
And again, coming into the series, this is a team that was 9-1 in their past 10 games and had beat high-quality teams. In fact, the only loss was to our 10th place Supernova team, which I don't really think about that. Tell me he's going to be stuck. He's going to have to flash away. Nice Nature's Grasp for him. Catches 3. No play for FlyQuest Challengers.
Wow. Landing all 3 members there for Tomio, literally saving his life and allowing him to reset, but it was at the cost of his ult and his flash. As you can see now, Rift Herald that they had gotten so long ago, finally going to be dropped here to look to crack at least some damage onto this tier 2.
That ult will be up soon. Flash going to be a valuable cooldown that FlyQuest took away, as FlyQuest is going to try and deter the second Herald from crashing. Actually, they're going to do so successfully, but do we see the Baron hit by Disguise?
Could be. They are on it right now.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're backing off.
Okay, if that's the case, a big win for FlyQuest Challengers there. They stopped the second Herald from crashing. They took a mid or a bot outer for free. No response, and as long as that happens, Masu able to free farm mid, getting closer and closer to that Ludens, where FlyQuest Challengers are going to start feeling very happy again.
This is where it is going to be difficult. Both teams with very solid identities. One gets set up a 1-3-1, but they also can play for these skirmishes, while the other, they are all about setting up, making sure that Disguise can't ever play into them, nor can they even get close to all the damage that Spyrex and Masu are going to lay out.
"90 seconds away from Ocean Soul being on the table for Disguise too. I will say, I detest Ocean Soul. I have a slight war against
I know you do. I know you do, but it's so good into
sucks.
this comp. That's the only problem.
It is, yeah. It is actually good this game. And Disguise, they're going to force right now. They're going to try to bring FlyQuest to them, force the poke comp to take an all-in fight.
Exactly. That's the way to beat them. This is what Disguise did to EGC, and this is what they're looking to do against FlyQuest Challengers here in a do-or-die game to remain in the upper bracket to cement a top 3 finish for Summer.
FlyQuest, though, are staying disciplined, playing out their 3 lanes. They are not falling for this. Do not take a fight. They just get them off it, fall back. FlyQuest Challengers, I will say, by doing this, it did force them to respond to the waves, and if FlyQuest Challengers have not been able to contest this mid-wave, curious, though, to see Disguise not set up for this Ocean Soul. Instead, they go right back to the Baron.
They know. They don't have to go for the Ocean Soul.
Wait.
They don't want to.
Masu
they
base.
can go right onto this one.
Masu base.
base. This should just be Disguise taking this one.
No.
Look at how far away they are. Yuji nearby, but no blast cone. Has the flash. They spot it out. They can keep him at bay. Looking for the poke. It's going to connect, but not going to be able to get inside the pit. Disguise. How did they just get away with that?
Masu base, there was no fight, and again, FlyQuest not setting up the poke. Disguise do that on the 1-minute timer that you usually base to reset around the dragon, and look at Disguise. They don't even care about that Ocean Soul. Fake God just TP top. They're going to play for the Baron, so this has to be denied by FlyQuest Challengers. They will secure this for themselves, but then the Baron push will be on. Disguise has a head start.
Yeah, the Turo Baron buff for Disguise, and I'm getting so many deja vu flashes here in this game for Disguise, because this looks like what they did against Evil Geniuses Challengers when they played up against a Poke Cop before.
Look at them just playing out the two lanes. They're to catch mid-wave high and then go play off Fake God's wave in the top side. They've already gotten the end of turns. Winsome tries to force.
Try to force, looking for Zeyzal, but he gets popped. And without him, your engage is gone. FlyQuest realized that was also a 4v5. They have lost their support, their engage, all the while Fake God is knocking at the door.
Disguise, they're just trying to stop the ports, stop the bases. Make sure that Fake God takes this for free, gets that, he's going to retreat. Disguise can now play off mid as they have been running FlyQuest Challengers across the map here, Mad Magical. And Disguise building upon their gold lead before the Ludens comes in for the Kaisa, in great shape right now.
They got their practice before in the regular season. In our final week, they know how to play against the style of composition, but Fake God will get shut down. Much needed gold picked up by Masu, even if the mid lane tier 2 is going to crack.
Tomio does not have ult, so FlyQuest could actually look to force.
Are chasing him down. The stun connecting from Beach, from Young. They're looking for that poke with the exhaust on Meat. There he goes, up into the air. And they're still focused. They're looking for Meat, but he flashed away. Nice route on to the engagers of FlyQuest. Well, Disguised, they get out of there scot-free.
The flash being burned by Meech, that is something that FlyQuest can look to punish later. Masu also importantly got a kill, as it actually looks like we might see some new tech from that Kaisa. Is this going to be a Horizon focus?
Ooh. We'll have to keep our eyes on Masu.
It's a bit of a hodgepodge of items at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It's all over the place. I think probably trying to get some of the spikes there to get the evolves. But we'll keep an eye on Masu, whether or not it's going to be that Ludens, the Leandries we saw beforehand, or you're just going to go for the Horizon focus instead to get even more poke at range.
I haven't seen it yet, but or at least on third item, but in theory, it is good. Masu still going to be gifted that red buff, even going with the poke build. I will say Disguise, the one part about this Baron that I wasn't a huge fan of is it is about to expire, is that Young was never in the side lane on his own. Yes, I think the Fake God TP was fine to go up top and sack that Ocean Dragon, but really when you have it early, you want to play 3 lanes with Baron because Aurelia is so strong on her own zone. But Baron does expire. FlyQuest really only bleed out that top inner and top inhibitor turret. Stop the rest of the push. That is good from FlyQuest Challengers. They did overperform during that Baron secure for Disguised. As Masu will also be given the blue buff here, Mad Magical. He's got main character energy right now.
Masu is, I think it's kind of like what we saw with Meat on the Kaisa in game 2. A lot of the pressure is put on to the, in quotes, marksman of the composition. To be the heroes for the team, to find these angles. The big problem here still has to be that Beach on the other side, on the Xayah. It's going to be really scary if left untouched.
Also, if FlyQuest just overcommits when they do find a fight, but again, it is poke, and Xayah can't interact with poke that well. I think one of the better examples we saw was actually what FlyQuest did just yesterday in their series, going up against Evil Geniuses Challengers with that Cogma. That was pretty gross, how useless they made the Xayah and the Cassia look if you are able to play at range. So, again, that is the goal for FlyQuest. And, okay, it's going to be a Rage Blade for Masu. So not fully committing to that poke identity. Still has a needlessly large rod, though, in inventory. And I gotta say, Masu is very far ahead of the item curve here, even when FlyQuest is behind. So he's going to have to be massive in these fights with the Rage Blade positioned well. Masu is someone that we have really hyped up, especially in the second round robin. He has been playing so good. I said it in the pre-show. Feels like I'm watching a tier 1 marksman competing in a tier 2 league, something that we said about Unforgiven last split. And if FlyQuest wants to take home this win, you gotta believe it's gotta be off the back of their stud marksman and Masu.
2-0-1. Has that poke online that he can use to whittle down Disguise from range before looking for the engage himself. Unlike with the Xayah, doesn't really need to be peeled for. Can peel for himself and just displace himself and make it really difficult for Disguise to get on top of him.
So far, these W's aren't connecting. So, really a good job so far by Disguise to sidestep some of this poke. Zeyzal even able to sustain some of it up. Good news for FlyQuest, they have kits to eat saplings. And as long as FlyQuest keeps us any... Oh, Winston.
They don't have one to eat that. That's what they don't have enough to. The flash comes in from Spyrex. The root thrown out. Body blocked by Yuji.
They got Subjugate.
Got a little bit of poke on the other side, but the Subjugate is gone. Not going to be useful anymore. With poke there only hitting Zeyzal. They got to get it to land onto someone like Young or Reach. Force them out of the fight, because all these guys have to do is peel back, look for their soul.
I mean, this game's been so close, but Winston just going way too far up. It really takes away some of the options here for FlyQuest as Masu keeps on connecting these Ws. That is big, but Michi able to sidestep that one from Spyrax. Both poke carries spotted as Young trying to find an angle. It will at least get Meech around, so we're back to a front to back. I favor disguise.
Recalled, fake got it, recalled. They can TP into the mid lane. They've got the play, but Masu, he's got enough damage, and look at Meech as well. Poked down by Spyrex, but they can't get into the pit. That is going to be the Ocean Soul for disguise.
Look at the top lane real quick. FlyQuest, there are minions on their inhibitor. They've yet to respond to it. Disguise, they have an Ocean Soul. You got to believe they're going to stay around on the map with Masu.
Looking for Masu, keeping him at bay again, but he is so far back. He can't get the damage they need to. They're continuing the fight. Disguise say, you're not allowed to set up FlyQuest. We are here to regain our title. Even if we're not Cloud9, we are now Disguise, and we want to get into the top 3.
They just bled so many flashes out of FlyQuest, pushed them into the bot side jungle. They're just going to go straight for Baron.
Why not? Go right for the objective.
Minions took the inhib.
Never let FlyQuest have that chance to set up. They're constantly forcing these plays.
Disguised in this game, FlyQuest, a team that I've really complimented for being so flexible and executing their strategies well. Disguised taking this comp into the poke of FlyQuest. They've simply been better as Ocean Soul secured. The minions take the top lane inhibitor, and the Turtle Baron buff now on their shoulders.
With all 5 members wearing the purple, they can come out in Royal Regalia and try to march down mid lane and bot lane, whatever lane really they want to. FlyQuest, they're now grasping at straws. What can they do? They've got these 3 item spikes for Spyrex and Masu Cubby, but it feels like it's just not doing anything.
Hey, you can see the pressure though. Like when FlyQuest can't set up and can't initially get poked down, Disguise is able to continuously push forward. Yeah, Masu, he can't pump out the damage yet. He's gonna need that death cap if he wants it. So all eyes got to be on Masu securing death cap and hoping that that is enough to push things over the edge. We could have our observers maybe toggle the X key to see if we can, at least how much gold he has in his inventory. That matters more than the total gold in the game. I would love to see how close he is to having death cap.
We're going to see a little bit of a fight here. No. Doesn't seem that even Faiso wants it against Young, knowing that Sante cannot beat this Aurelia who's got 2 levels on him.
We're going to have to keep our eyes on Masu. Whenever he bases and gets that death cap, that's big. We're actually going to try and get him the super creeps in the top side, but he can't go there as this guy is pressuring bot side the pillar, deterring Meech from walking forward. Some good poke lands on the Yuji and the Ocean Soul for Disguise that can sustain all the poke up from FlyQuest. Such a good soul roll, and Disguise being paid off in tenfold for that early control they had over the dragon, as Meech will go clean up some waves. The death cap has been secured, but at the cost of the bot inhibitor.
Bot inhibitor still stands for now. A little bit of poke on Hazel. FlyQuest Challengers, they're the ones trying to start up these fights, but that pillar disrupt. FlyQuest have no real answers here against Disguise. It feels like everything that they want to do with the poke, even if that engage right there that they wanted to set up, they're constantly baited back by Disguise.
Meech, okay, Meech is going to go up in the air.
Ooh, takes a lot of damage, and is traded back onto Winsome.
We got him.
Oh. Did they land one more? Masu's looking for the angle, but look at
BT. He has BT.
Look at how many members are trying to body block for Meech, just to make sure he can heal up off that wave.
Bloodthirster there. If that Kai'Sa W would have like proc the pass, I think it expired just in time for Meech to live. That's a big deal. That would have been really close. But Ocean Soul, ET, and one wave going to top him off. It's Masu, that is ideally the target he wants, but really tough to find him now with all the items they have, as Faisal tanks this one off.
Takes it up, pulls back in, looks for Zeyzal, and they can actually take out their engage. But look at Fake God. I'm looking at Fake God. He's exhausted right now. They've got a little bit of damage. Masu still on the side, but that's a huge double kill for me. And with Young on top of Masu, he goes golden. Only Masu's alive. But how can you fight back against the strength that is Disguised?
There's nothing.
When Meech has all the damage, they've got the slow from the saplings. And look at Masu flashed in and shut down. It is Disguise here to win, to reclaim that title that Cloud9 had gotten in spring. But for the new award, for Disguise Toast, for the Patreons here, Cubby, they will get top 3.
Great game coming out of the skies. They broke the strategy that FlyQuest Challengers wanted to run the hard engage into the poke. I gotta say, Maokai, it's been a big pick all year for Tomio, but it is still undefeated in playoffs, now sitting at 6-0. This feels like a meta warping champion. You can play it with the poke, but also play it to break the poke. We saw this in this best of 3. I felt like this guys executed this very well, as it was a big game from the Maokai, who led his team in damage even.
That is just a crazy damage graph to see. You see this kind of graph and you go, ah, red team, they definitely won this game, right? Right? No, that's not how it works. It is Disguise really just keeping FlyQuest from ever being able to set up. Like we said, the poke just wasn't able to stick onto any of the members of Disguise.
I gotta give them a lot of credit for playing into the game plan that FlyQuest Challengers had. They were able to break it. I think that the Aurelia, even though it didn't get going necessarily early in the game, it still had some big fights in the mid game where Aurelia did come up big, and they were able to continuously press into the poke comp and archetype that was showing from FlyQuest Challengers. So really close series. I honestly would love to see a rematch of this at some point in the tournament in a best of 5, as I think that we saw some good strats from each team. There were some decent adaptations, but in the end, it was Maokai who was 3-0 in the series, and Tomio is Maokai who ends up reigning supreme in the end.
Not only that, Cubby, but our number 1 and number 2 seed have both been knocked down into the lower bracket. Our 3 and 4 seeds move on. We're going to toss it to a break, though, Covey. I know you're excited to talk about this more, but I'm also excited to hear from the players of Disguise. Rex will be back for that interview, so make sure you stay tuned.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive. Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers. I am joined with Zazel from Disguised after a 2-1 series against FlyQuest. Brother, was that the expected result? Did you guys come into this day confident that you would take them down?
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely confident. I mean, we definitely felt they were a strong opponent, but for some reason today, also, like, we were all saying, like, Fear's going to beat TLC too, so, I mean, we just had to follow the rule, also had to beat FLYC, so then we could have the true number 1 and 2 matchup.
Yeah, you guys have knocked out every single LCS Challengers squad into the lower bracket now. You know, Fear sent TLC down there, you guys sent FlyQuest down there, Evil Geniuses basically were born down there, so... You know, it's got to feel good right now. I do want to ask you about game number 1, though. FlyQuest had a 8K gold lead. How in the living hell did you guys overcome that? Talk me through it.
We coped a lot. Like, maybe we'll win on... we actually were coping pretty hard. Like, every item... we can win. We can kill them at this item, but it became true when Kaisa got Rage Blade, and then we could finally actually kill someone. So, yeah, I would say just, like, a lot of coping, cutting our losses, and... just trying to mentally reset for the next play, which for that game was like a series of getting shit on for like six rounds in a row. But then on the 7th and 8th round, we got him.
That's what counts. You get to the late game, that battle of attrition, and you're still ready to go, brother. Now, what about Series 2? Game 2, excuse me. Because that's the one that took us to a series. What happened in that game? That was very back and forth.
I think that game, with our comp, we have to go fast, and we just didn't go fast when it mattered. I mean, we had some really, like, big plays. Like, the Rift Herald fight that game was a literal 4v5, and we traded even on it. We didn't get the Rift, but even trading, we fought a 4v5 and basically almost won. So we had some good plays, but we just didn't, like, pull the trigger when it mattered, which is, like, that 3rd dragon was the turning point, I think, from our perspective, where we were in the zone first, and Maokai walked in, and we were just like, all right, man, just set up your saplings, take your zone, maybe... we'll think about coming in later, and then we obviously didn't get to come in, so.
Now, Zazel, for me, you're personally, in my book, one of the best engaged supports that I've ever seen, not just in this league, but in other leagues as well. On that note, you tend to block off a lot of angles that teams are trying to take. You try to counter flankers. What sets up the map state for you guys to be so successful in your setups around Baron and your setups around Dragon and such forth?
I mean, we just generally try to think like, what advantage do we have? And usually it's gonna be like, if I have flash, I just feel strong, and Tomio's the same. It's like, it's just as players, we have flash on our keyboard, we see it's up, we want to go. And I think like we'll literally call Barons and Dragons based off just like, one person doesn't have flash, we're gonna make sure that person dies. And that's like how we are as players in general. And I think it just works really well because now we're all kind of on the same page, we're all looking for the same angles, and if we get set up first, we're really confident, or even if we just have a small advantage, we're really confident.
Yeah. So if you all have flash, someone's gonna die, man. Someone's gonna fall, right?
That's pretty much the rule. And on that note, we also feel pretty confident we're not at a disadvantage. So I think the conclusion is just we're confident to fight enemies and kill enemies. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it does.
Now, you have teams like Cincinnati Fear who are flying out and doing boot camps to prepare for playoffs. Did you guys do anything in particular to get ready for this next bout that you're going through?
We didn't do too much. I mean, duo queues enabled again for the fresh season, so, well, not really enabled again, but for high elo you can't duo queue, which is a pretty weird restriction, but we're all fresh counts, so we've been duoing with each other, getting some good vibes. There is one thing I'll say we didn't do, which one thing that the FlyQuest Challengers coaches could improve on is they could focus less time typing in Twitch chat, because I noticed they do it every day. They could probably coach their team to be a little better, and then they might not have lost this series.
Give them the spice, Hazel! Damn, boy! Okay, you got heavy hands and big words to drop on teams. You love to see it. Now, I want to ask you about this whole Meech versus Masu rivalry that's been going on. Now that you witness it firsthand on the Rift in a best of 3, how do you feel about both of those players and, of course, especially your own?
Honestly, they're both pretty similar in playstyle and both very good. Like, I guess there's a good example would be the fight in game 2 when we engaged on them 2v2 at level 8, and Meech ults behind to dodge the Xayah E, and Masu sets it up with the E flash. They're both really good and both good mechanically, so I kind of harp on it a bit, but it's just because I think Meech doesn't get talked about enough, whereas obviously Masu is good, he's a great player, but so is Meech.
Meech is a great player. Oftentimes I feel like it's you who gets a little bit too much of the spotlight. We got to bring up Meech as well.
Yeah,
it's a bot lane. It's dynamics that come together. Now, Zazel, you've been this massive presence of ungodly power in the NACL. That's the soft way I'm going to put it. If you were to conquer the league again, what are your goals afterwards? Is it to get back into the LCS?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely something I've wanted to do for a while, is just return and kind of bring back the feelings, but I feel like the opportunities I've had, it's pretty known. I had some opportunities, but I really just want a fair shot from the beginning of the split. I want to come in, get that initial team boot camp in that LCS teams do, and start from nothing and build something with a team on the LCS stage. And I mean, we do it on NACL, we do well. I definitely want to move up and get that experience again.
Yeah, this man has been brutalizing it here at NACL, if any scouts are watching. Now, to close out, Zazel, I want to ask you 2 questions. Let's start with the first one. Why should the audience perhaps subscribe to the Patreon of Disguised?
Well, the main reason is going to be because you're paying for, everyone's favorite team, DSG, because we have, I mean, it's mostly to do with Toast, but we're here too, and you help support the players, and I think in general, it's a very kind of grassroots environment, and that feels good to support. So
yeah,
I think, subscribe to the Patreon. It's $5 for lowest tier, which is the investor tier, and then you can be a board of directors. So who knows, maybe we can if we all collude, we can kind of push Tomio out and get him in the 80 carry role, because Tomio and I have been 13-0 in our last 13 games of duo. So
okay. I'm going to be watching. We've had roll swaps already, so you never know. Last question right here. Do you have any shout-outs before we let you go, brother?
Yeah, shout out to all the DSG fans, to all my teammates. I mean, Game 3, I was literally just on the bus dying at the start of fights and my team winning, so great work by my team. And yeah, shout out to all the Patreon subscribers, Grayson, the analyst Ras that we got, and yeah, Young, Meech, Aaron's mom, yeah, whoever, yeah. Fly-in mom as well.
Support to all the family and everyone who supports them as well. I want to thank you so much for your time, Zazel, and congratulations. Only one more win away before you book that ticket to Los Angeles. I want to wish you the best of luck in the rest of playoffs, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring the casters back to the desk. Did you hear those words? Did you hear those words? He's swinging at him, baby.
I like it. I mean, it's fun when we get some banner from Zazel, and also love the words that he had about Meech. Of course, Masu we hype up, rightfully so, but we did hype up each bot lane coming into the day. I felt like Meech and Masu went blow for blow, man, and that's honestly saying that is a lot of credit over to both of those players. Saw really nice performances from both marksmen, and excited to see that continue in the tournament as Disguise did end up moving on.
They did, and all three of our challenger teams are now in the lower bracket. Let's pull up the bracket right now. That is a wild situation to see unfold, especially when we have so many favorites coming out from like TLC and FlyQuest.
A little mistake.
All right, FlyQuest Challengers, they're up 1. They're playing against the winners of Maryville or Wildcard. That is important to note. But as you called out, Desirux, all 3 of our LCS affiliated orgs are in the lower bracket. That means that Fear or Disguise, one best of 5 away from guaranteeing a ticket booked to the Riot Games Arena on August 9th, where, hey, if you're a fan of either of these teams, you can actually go see them live for the cheap price of $10, which is now actually cheaper than your Spotify subscription. So that, you could drop on by, see the Riot Games Arena, and see some great action from one of those 2 teams, and we'll see who else can get there to reach them. And say, hey, we got 4 FlyQuest. Let's go.
FlyFam's back. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Alex, you want to include anything as we have the bracket up?
I mean, the craziest thing is going to be that one of our non-challenger teams is going to be in the finals no matter what. Cincinnati Fear or Disguise are going to be there booking their ticket to LA, which we haven't had happen. Like, if you count Proving Grounds and back when that started in 2021, that hasn't happened since the beginning. That was the last time we saw a non-affiliated team get to the finals. That was No Orc, who ended up winning the whole thing.
Yep. Even the last time that we had a team get top 4 before Fear did it last split was actually, I believe it was Evil Genius's Prodigies, who took a 5th, 6th finish. Like, the fact that Fear made 2 top 4s in a row, so impressive, than Disguise doing it in their first split. I gotta say, looking at the roster, not too surprised about that one.
It's actually AoE Ginger Tumor.
Yeah, AoE GT, I do remember.
Oh, they took a 5-6 as well.
They were so close to getting into that top 4 and actually being flown out. I remember that.
Yeah, well, that is something that, I mean, honestly, just really impressive for both of those orgs. The Fear bootcamp paying off in Disguise. Honestly, looking like a true threat in this tournament, as personally gotta say, really excited for the Fear versus Disguised, as we saw our top 4 teams play in Challengers today, and didn't disappoint. Saw some upsets. Excited to see how the tournament continues to pan out.
Well, if you are excited, I got good news for the viewers who are used to our week ending right here on a Monday. We're going to have a broadcast tomorrow because playoffs is special. We need to get the ball rolling. So to be sure to tune in tomorrow as well to continue LCS Challengers playoffs. But before we go, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, and that is going to be Turo. LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace where you can rent pretty much any car you want for any occasion. Forget about those boring rentals at Turo.com. A big thank you to, of course, Rally Cry and Monkey Bubble, who work behind the scenes to get this together. A big thank you to the teams and the players and the staff. Of course, thank you, Mad Magical and Cubby, for the cast today. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you next time on LCS Challengers. Oh, we're rating Perry, by the way, so be sure to give him a good hello. Let's go!